Hi, I'm Melanie Souza and welcome to Gluten-free and Loving It. I'm really excited about the recipe I have to share with you today. It's Thumbprint cookies, gluten-free Thumbprint cookies. And it's an added benefit because it's not only gluten-free, but it's also dairy-free and it's vegan. So it really crosses a lot of different people and it encompasses a lot of different food choices, and it's delicious as well. We're going to start with our wet ingredients. And to start off, we have a half a cup of maple syrup. So the maple syrup is going to be our sweetener. You can use light or dark. This one happens to be a light maple syrup, but a dark one will do just as well. The second thing we're going to add is a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Make sure your vanilla extract is gluten-free as well. Next thing we have, and the last wet ingredient, is a half cup of grapeseed oil. Now I happen to use grapeseed oil, but you can use any vegetable oil that you like that doesn't have any distinct flavoring. Some vegetable oils have a distinct taste. The grapeseed oil I find doesn't have a distinct taste, so it doesn't interfere with the other taste of the cookie, the other ingredients, the taste of the ingredients. So we're going to just whisk that up. So we put that into those three ingredients in a small bowl, whisk together, and the next thing we're going to do is add our dry ingredients. And we're going to put the dry ingredients in a larger bowl because we're going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. To start, we're going to start with a cup of gluten-free flour. And this is just an all-purpose baking flour. The next thing that we're going to add is a cup of almonds. Now what I did was I took raw almonds, I toasted them in the oven for about 10 minutes just to get them nice and brown and crisp. And then I let them cool, and then I measured out a cup and put them into the grinder. And so we have kind of it's a very, very coarse meal. You want to use the food processor to get it this way. If you don't have a food processor, you could use a blender, whatever works best for you, but the food processor works really well. And so that's a cup of ground almonds. Then next we have a cup of oatmeal, gluten-free oatmeal. Now the oatmeal, we did the same thing as we did with the nuts. I didn't toast them, but I did put them into the food processor to grind them up to more of a flour consistency. So that's a cup of the oatmeal. The next thing we have is a half teaspoon salt and a teaspoon of cinnamon. Put cinnamon in everything, it tastes delicious. I love cinnamon. So we're going to mix all that together. The dry ingredients, we got that all combined. And we're going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. And we'll mix that all together. So you're going to see it's going to be a nice, has like a maple color to it between the cinnamon and the maple syrup. It makes it a nice light tan color, and also the almonds, they'll do that too. So the mixture here, it's not really dry and it's not really wet. It's a nice cookie dough consistency, not a dry cookie dough though. Okay, so we have all our ingredients mixed together. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our pan and move all this stuff to the side. I have a pan here with Silpat on it, which is my covering, so I'm not going to use any added oil or anything. You can use, you can also use parchment paper if you'd like for this recipe to put that on there. And I'm going to take a teaspoon, and I'm going to put teaspoon-size balls onto our Silpat here, and it's going to make 20. So we're going to just do that and right here, and then after we're going to do something else to them. It's a little much. So get your 20 on your pan. They can be fairly close together because these don't really spread that much when you cook them. we're gonna do something to them. And once we press them out, that's as big as they're going to get. So they're not going to run into each other as they cook. So now that we have all of our cookies out, they made 20 perfectly onto our sheet. And we're going to flatten these out. And the way that we're going to flatten them out, I have a bowl of warm water. And I just took it's just a measuring cup. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dip that in there to get it warm. And we're going to use this to just flatten them out a little bit. Now, as I said before, this is as flat and as big as they're going to get. So whatever shape you make them, that's pretty much what they're going to end up being after they're cooked. And you'll have to do this every couple so it doesn't stick to the bottom of your measuring cup. And this helps flatten them out so they look more like a cookie. Now you're going to notice your cookie dough is it's kind of a chunky cookie dough because of all the ground almonds in it. You don't want to ground the almonds so it's powdery or flaky. You want to still have some texture in your dough. And that gives it, when they're cooked, it gives them a really nice crunch. And you can really taste the almonds in there, which is really nice. So you do this all the way until they're all flattened out. So now we have our 20 flattened cookies. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some jelly, jam, preserves, whatever you want. This is a fruit spread, and I have an apricot and I have a raspberry. And what we're going to do is, they're called thumbprint cookies, so we are going to put a thumbprint right in the center of each of the cookies. Again, if your thumb, you feel it getting dry and it's sticking, you can wet that a little bit with the warm water. And this is going to make a nice little reservoir for your jelly or your jam or whatever you're going to put inside of it with the spreadable fruit. And you're going to put that inside there. And we're going to take a half teaspoon, and we're going to put a half teaspoon of the spread in each one of the little reservoirs that we've made. So because we make 20, I like to do 10 and 10 because I like both of these flavors equally. And you just mix it nice because it stays, the jelly stays right in that little reservoir. It doesn't move around and spread and go all over your pan to make it difficult to clean up. So they stay right there and they look pretty. A little more in there. That looks good. So now that we have our jam into our thumbprint cookies, we're going to put them in the oven on 350. And we're going to put them in there for 12 minutes. Then we're going to turn them for another 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, now I've taken out my cookies out of the oven, and you can see the way they haven't really spread out and touching each other, so you get flat sides. You have perfectly beautiful cookies the way that you put them on the pan. So we've actually cooked them for 20 minutes. So I had it on 12, and then I turned them so they'll be cooked evenly on all sides, and I cooked it for 8. Now it depends on the crispiness you like them. I like them a little darker, so I kept them in a couple of extra minutes. But that's up to you how you prefer your cookies. So we've taken them out, and they need to cool on the rack on your tray here for about 5 to 6 minutes. And once you have them cool for that amount of time on the tray, then you're going to take them and you're going to let them cool on a wire rack until they're completely cooled. Most of the time they don't make them to the wire rack, but I'm going to behave today, and I'm going to let them cool on the wire rack till they're ready to eat. So you'll place all of them on the rack, let them cool, and then enjoy. Enjoy your gluten-free thumbprint cookies.